Hello, my friends. Let's talk about English dubbing for anime for a moment. I wanted to do this because I remember watching the dub of an anime that I had never seen before, which is extremely rare occurrence, but an even rarer occurrence is that I actually enjoyed the English dub. Or should I say I enjoyed the voice acting of the English dub. The anime was called Unbreakable Machine Doll. But let me preface this by saying that I don't know anything about voice acting or the voice acting industry. I've been interested in it for a long time, but never enough to get intimate with it. But something that shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone is that the rule of thumb has been that the English dubs of anime and Japanese video games is worse and often even subpar compared to the Japanese editions. And this is understandable given that the US and English voice acting industries had a slower start and didn't grow at the amazing rate that Japan's did. It takes time for strong voice actors to develop, and to develop that specific skill set that is different from voice-over work or acting. I won't talk about 4Kids, but the US industry and other countries have been catching up. You know, we all love Dante Bosco and Johnny Young Bosch and Stephanie Sheh. They're just some of my favorites. But I've talked to a number of artists and crafters at conventions who watch anime like they're listening to radio. They're busy giving their eyes to practicing and making their art, but only get so much free time in a day, so they multitask. Thus, there's still a real demand for dubbing to get better and better. But let's get to the subject at hand. I want to talk about what might make good English dubs, based on this experience that I had with this one anime. The first thing is obvious, I think, is skilled voice actors. But on the flip side is strong directing for the voice actors. My go-to example is the character Ali Hillis, who played Lightning in Final Fantasy XIII, Karin in Naruto, Meg Griffin in Family Guy. In my opinion, Ali Hillis is an amazing voice actor, and her skill even showed through relatively flat and boring characters like Lightning. And boy did she try hard to breathe more life into Lightning Returns. What I would say most likely happened was that the directors of the game had a very specific vision for Lightning. One of those Japanese character archetypes that is very well received in Japan, but doesn't translate to the English language on a one-to-one basis very well. So there wasn't enough flexibility given. Which will lead me to my other points. The second is that the voice actor should help to craft the characters. This isn't all that different from how live-action actors try to embody characters on the screen and end up helping their directors to create the characters over time. By letting voice actors have more agency over understanding the character and embodying the character, they will be able to create unique personalities to be established naturally in their own native tongue. Just like in acting, character is established by a melding of the actor and the written character. And I think this can really be seen in great anime like Cowboy Bebop and Eureka 7, where characters in Japanese end up having very different personalities than they do in English, and yet still are able to achieve the goals of the show as a whole. So the dubbed anime that I watched, called Indestructible Machine Doll, was not an amazing show, but had interesting enough concepts. Basically, it was Zero no Tsukaima with magic robots rather than just magic. But the setting took place as this Japanese kid at a school in England. In the Japanese version, the characters just sounded like the standard set of Japanese voice actor archetypes. There were no real unique characters, and all the different ethnic backgrounds spoke in the standard Tokyo Ben dialect, a run-of-the-mill single-season affair. It was just a light novel anime, nothing to write home about. In the English dub, however, there was a plethora of accents, including different British accents, Irish accents, Scottish accents, and the voice actors were able to use this to help make the characters unique and establish differences in their personalities. It was done well enough to actually grab my attention. So, for my third point, I think the voice actors would be better served through a preference towards loose translation over strict translation. To give a quick rundown, strict translation is the idea of translating the words by their definition, very denotatively, and giving very little room for change. Whereas a loose translation may not actually retain the exact one-to-one comparison of words between languages, but will still keep the feeling and the intention, or the ideas behind the words, intact. Not only do certain languages use similarly defined words in different ways, but grammar and syntax simply makes translation in certain languages a much greater challenge than others. Japanese and English is one of those language pairs. There are just a lot of nuances between the two languages that aren't shared. Point is, things can get complicated very quickly when you use only denotative, strict translation. What they appear to have done with Indestructible Machine Doll is take the intended meanings behind the lines and rewrite them using the grammar and syntax of English, as well as pulling from the given ethnicities of the characters to influence the word choice and everything else in the script. Essentially, this is rare, but the English dub script was simply superior to the original Japanese script. It had less tropes, more variety, and was, as a whole, more entertaining than the Japanese. So to wrap up, I want to reiterate, I really know nothing about the voice acting industry. These are just some ideas that got solidified after watching this one show. But tell me what you think. What makes an English dub good for you? Have you ever seen a dub that you thought was better than its original language edition? Do you think I'm wrong on any of these points? I'm absolutely sure someone out there does. Or anything else you want to talk about is fine by me too. Thank you for listening, my friends. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to subscribe to the channel, share it around with your friends. I don't pay anyone to advertise the channel for me, so the only way we can grow is with your help. And, as always, stay true.